But for today, I always go into these Q&As with an intention. And today's intention is all about body scanning. Now, before we get into that, I just want you to take a moment and think about the last time that you felt pain in your body. We all have it. Maybe some of us have it more on a daily occurrence, or some of us just occasionally get it. So when you felt that pain, what was your initial response to it? How did you react to that? For a lot of us, and if you want to, go ahead and put that in the chat, but for a lot of us, the first thing that we do is we don't want to feel that pain. So we may fidget, or we may try to change position or get out of that position that we're in that's causing the discomfort. Some of us may immediately reach for the medicine. We also, we are so inclined as a society to really just push right into that area. Let's say I have pain up in here. I want to push right into that area, or I want to try to stretch that area. Those are kind of the most common things that I see from our clients, is that they are trying to shift or avoid, reach for the meds, or they're treating symptomatically right into that area. But I'm going to share a little tidbit with you. What I've found over the years is where we have our symptoms isn't usually where the cause is coming from. So when we do these things, we fidget to avoid or reach for the meds or stretch in that specific symptomatic area, feels good in that moment, but it doesn't tend to yield long-term change. That's what we ultimately want to do with myofascial self-care, is to start to teach you the tools that you can start to get long-term change. And so one of the ways that we help our clients do that is by learning how to do body scans. Now, as you heard me say before, body scans are one of our key foundational steps for any myofascial self-care program. What it does is it helps us be aware of, one, where our symptoms are, but ultimately it's going to help us start to read and be aware of our entirety of our body, allowing us to feel some of these other alignment issues or dysfunctions that are ultimately what could be causing majority of our symptoms. And so with the body scan, what we are starting to do is we're going to observe our symptoms. We're not going to ignore them. We're just going to acknowledge that they're still there. So what some of the things that we may feel are, we might feel our symptoms of pain. We might feel tightness. So these are all things that we want to still be aware of. We want to acknowledge them, but it's not what we're going to hone in on. We're going to hone in on some deeper awarenesses. And this is going to include maybe some positional changes. Maybe it will include weight distribution differences, or some of us will feel temperature changes, or maybe areas that feel thick or thin. So these are some of the things that we are going to be looking at for body scans. And then ultimately what we want to learn to do is how to address these things that we're feeling. But when we first start out, it's really important to know that we're just going to start to learn. So we're just observing what we're sensing in our body. For many of us, we won't be able to put words to it. We have no idea what to even do about it. That's okay. What we want to do is we want to start to understand and get just an understanding of what we are sensing, what the patterns are that we're feeling. And then over time, we start to help you understand what you can do about these. So if you want to join in and learn the body scan with me, what I'm going to encourage you to do is, one of the best ways to start doing a body scan is actually laying down. So if you want to, you can just hear my voice talking, but I want you just to find a comfortable position laying down, whether that's on the floor or on the bed. So I'm going to give you a moment just to do that, and go ahead and lie on down. Now, when we are doing a body scan, you can do a body scan in standing, sitting, or lying down. But like I said, for today, we're going to do it in lying down. I find it's one of the easiest ways for us to first learn how to do a body scan. So when you get into that lying down position, I want you to be comfortable. So if you do need a little bit of extra support underneath your neck or knees to support your back, go ahead and do that. Have a little blanket underneath there or a pillow, just to give yourself a little bit of support. And what I'm going to have you do is go ahead and just close your eyes. We're going to connect into our feeling awareness. We're going to quiet down our intellectual mind, and we'll just feel and sense what we're noticing in our body. So as I said before, as we start to do and learn a body scan, we're going to be aware of our symptoms. We're going to simply acknowledge them, but more importantly, what we are looking for are maybe, like I said, positional changes. So these may be areas that feel compressed, rotated, or shifted. We may feel differences in weight. So you may feel an area that is lighter or heavier. Some people will feel temperature changes. Maybe an area is cold or hot. Area may feel thick or thin. Some people see colors, so you may notice differences in color, maybe darkness or light. And some people will feel differences in and be aware of any energy that they feel. May feel like a vibratory sensation or an area that just doesn't feel like there's a lot of flow, that there's more stagnancy. So the important thing on why I bring all these things up is we all have different senses in our bodies that are stronger. So there is no right or wrong when you are doing this. And every day you do it, it may be a little bit different. So as we start our scan, we always want to allow ourselves some time to just quiet ourselves intellectually. And like I said, we want to utilize more of our feeling sense. So it's important for you to know there is no right or wrong way to perform your body scan. All of us will get it in our own way, in our own time. So it's important for you just to be easy on yourself and know that you don't need to know the difference of what you're feeling or what it's about. We're just going to make note of these sensations and notice what feels different. Some of us, it helps to visualize almost like we're getting a 3D image of the position of our body in space. Or some people will get a sense of the imprint that their body is making, almost like it's making an imprint into wet clay or sand. So before we start, I want you just to take a couple of just nice, easy diaphragmatic breaths. Go ahead and inhale for a count of 4. Then pause and exhale through your mouth for a count of 4. Starting to allow your body to just soften into the floor, to connect into the floor. And on your next inhale, inhale for a count of 4. And exhale for a count of 4. On your next inhale, go ahead and start to bring your awareness down towards your feet and ankles. And all I want you to do is to ask yourself, what am I feeling different about my feet and ankles left to right? Maybe you'll notice a difference in their position, or maybe the weight of them feels different. Just make note of it, and then start to bring your awareness and scan up through the lower legs, knees and thighs. Again, noticing any differences in temperature, areas of compression or rotation, differences in weight, size, or color. Just getting a felt sense or a visual of anything that feels different left to right. And next, start to bring that scan up into your buttocks, pelvis, and lower abdomen. Noticing any differences you feel in these areas. Many of us, when we start to get into our pelvis, we almost imagine that pelvis is like a bucket of water. Bottom of the bucket is towards your feet. Which way does it feel like your contents are spilling out of the bucket? Now start to imagine and bring your awareness up through your spine. And imagine your spine almost as a set of building blocks, stacked one on top of another. You're going to feel a little bit of space. We should feel a little bit of space between those building blocks. I want you to take a note. What position are those building blocks in? Where do you feel them being rotated? Where do you feel shifts in your spine? Are there areas that feel compressed more than others, where there's not as much space in between? As you start to bring your awareness up through the rib cage and trunk, start to notice the difference maybe of how your ribs are resting on the floor, or how your shoulder blades are resting. What's the difference with them? I want you to start to make note of any differences that you feel or sense in the position of your arms and shoulders. What is the alignment of your head over your neck? Now, your head is like one big building block on the rest of them. It should be in line with that neck. Many times it feels shifted off to a side or rotated, or notice the spacing in through that neck as well. And then as you bring your awareness into your face and head, notice anything that feels different. Maybe there's areas that feel compressed or twisted, almost scrunched up like a raisin. Be mindful of these differences. Now, congratulations, you just completed a body scan.